Okay, so hello everyone. Welcome to part two of my class for Tracer. Um, this one will be a little bit shorter since Tracer doesn't have that many mechanical aspects to her than Genji, but there's still some things I want to show nevertheless. Um, so first things first, Tracer's range and the way where the range where she's effective and not effective. So basically, if you're shooting from this range, you're still doing some damage, but not as much as you could do, you know? Especially if you're on this range already. So as a tracer, you always have to get close to a person and try to do as much damage from up close as you can while not getting killed. That's the basic concept of a tracer. So moreover, you like for every character, but especially tracer, you want to aim for the head area. But always keep in mind that tracer's shots have a little spread. So if you shoot, as you can see on the bullets, they won't go on a straight line, as my crosshair for example. They will have a little spread. So there's technique which most pros pick up, which is I don't know the name of it to be honest, but which is you just shake a little bit to try to get as a precise like as much damage as you can onto a target. And that thing is, like I'm playing on a really high DPI, but I think it's also possible for low DPI. I don't know to be honest, but most people tend to play on a low DPI. But it's a thing which you have to do with your wrist. This shaking, it has to come out of your wrist. So most people, before playing like a game of Overwatch and playing Tracer, or comp or whatever, they try to get in practice range and first off try to get this shaking on a little bit and to get the wrist warm because you need to have really good grip of playing with this wrist shaking technique, you know. So that's a really important thing to keep in mind. This is a wrist shaking technique, so that's a really huge thing you should learn. And I already explained it to one friend of mine, and he like expected to be like this, but that's not the way you do. Just do minor shakes because you that way you will, similar to a CS:GO spray pattern, you will most likely negate the spray and will be more effective. So you just always can go and kill people like that really quick. Concerning movement, you see the way I move with traces, I always tend to be really fast and like pick off a kill, flick around, jump, be annoying, flick around again, and all the stuff. So I always tend to get a kill, go to the right or something, and if someone is like a more annoying target, try to play around with it. Like you get up close, fight them, get around, see, look for the next target, look for her, go around, go back, and then recall. Always keep in mind your ammunition and all those things. And if you get up close and can't kill him, just always proceed with melee, since melee is really fast for her and most likely finishes off the enemy. So if you get up, kill, go back, all that stuff. Also, important thing to do is to always be aware how many blinks you have. Most people try to do like one blink, get behind, and that's it, and then just fight and all this stuff. But I always say, as long as you get the kill, it's most important to use all the blinks you can. So just get behind all the way, get up close again, try to not get killed and all this stuff, and all just let the recalls regenerate. And what you do when you have no recalls, like right now, you just crouch spam and stutter step at once. So like two things to remember: crouch spam, which is just basically this, you just spam crouch, but the model is really hard to hit then. But that's all you do, you just crouch spam all the time. You won't be easy to hit. Another thing to do is like to just do the stutter step, you know. Clicking the wrong button. You just have to stutter step. Then you have to keep in mind that you have to aim on a different basis than before. Because if you stutter step, your character will move, so you have to move with the stutter step. So that's a really hard thing to learn and to actually get what's called to get used to it. What I tend to use is when I stutter step, I don't even aim with my hand. I try to aim with my movement. So I just focus my hand on one point and try to get it with my movement buttons to get the kill. That's important too. Also, a really cool thing to do is when you like go for a kill or mess up like me. Wait, let me see. Let's go for the first ones again. You try to go for a kill and then there's this technique with the melee back recall. I still haven't figured it out myself completely, but which is basically just okay. You just have to like melee and recall right away. I just mess up myself right now, and I actually want to show it. Just the recall is so huge. Like this, you would just literally you don't have to wait out the whole melee animation. And also, in general, if you melee and still have bullets left, you can also just hold down left click while she's still flipping the weapon to like get out the last bit of bullets to kill someone. Yeah. The thing with blink management, I can't really explain it since it's always situational. I can't tell you, first you go left, then you go third, and then you go right. I can't tell you like that. It's just, it depends on the situation and on the characters you have to play against and with. So, but a thing, because most people tend to pick McCree if there's a Tracer, so what I always do when there's a McCree in the team is, I actually need a bomb which is on the field or something. I think there was one up here. Or not. Anyway, so what you actually do is you're far away, McCree sees you, okay, Tracer coming, yeah? What you do is get up close, get front, and then go back, because that way you will get up front, then he will focus on you, then he will expect you to go somewhere else, like for here, here, or behind him. Then most Tracers tend to do is like to go left or right, but for McCree it's pretty simple to just like flick to the side and then kill him. But if you do that, just go this like this, just go back and forth all the time. This back and forth technique is important. So you just really go up front and go and then back. I just didn't have my last one here. And but what you should do is like more advanced is to get behind them, flick around or like turn around right away, like basically get here, and then just I messed up again, and then just have to turn around and kill them there. But some McCrees try to counter that, so you just have to go on to go up close, and then go back, and I messed up again. So you see it's really messed up area here to do it. But you just really, all you do is just really quick back and forth. You just go here and like this, and they will turn around, 360 flashbang you, like 180 flashbang you, won't hit, and you just pick them off. So just keep in mind you can do the left and right forth, or just try to mess around with your enemy. That's the most important thing. Another thing I mentioned in the tutorial thing is the two ways of pulse bombing people. So you can either go right up close and then go back and let them die like this, or let me build up my old shot real quick again. Is to go for fall throw. And this is a technique which you can do if you can't build up the what's called the like to negate the range all the way back to them. So you just have to go for a huge throw and hope that it will stick mostly onto them. Right now they just went really far away, and as you can see it's not that huge of a range which you can throw it. But the basic way to just do it is like normally if you go up front to a person and try to pulse bomb them, like this is the person, you just have to be in this range, starting from, let's say, here to up close completely. So you will have most likely the pulse bomb onto them. But sometimes it will work, so just go up front and try to hit them like that. So you see it's not that easy, but it will sometimes be also really helpful. I think that's mostly it to it. You just really have to mess with your enemies, be aware of your blinks, be aware of your position, be aware of your munition, go for high prioritized targets like healers and all this stuff, and then try to get out as smooth as you can. That's mostly it, which is to it. Yeah, I think that's it mostly. Sorry for the bad explanation, but this section right here is more for the mechanical part, and like except for the crouch spam stutter step thing, the back and forth technique, and the with the wrist shake, there isn't much more to say to Tracer, to be honest, because You just have to practice to play her, learn the game, learn to know your limits, and go beyond those limits sometimes to like figure out which way you can play her the best. So it just depends on the person. Like I tend to go completely overkill, overextend, and pick up 2v1 fights all the time, and mostly win it. So it just depends on the practice and on also the game knowledge itself and all the mechanical skill you have to pick up and everything, you know. So yeah, it's been Raysus, and I guess see you guys till the next session.